the National Taxi Alliance Association was a no-show at the Taxi Lekgotla. The National Taxi Association snubbed the National Taxi Lekgotla, which began last week. Now, the country's second largest taxi association withdrew after it was not given the same speaking rights as the South African National Taxi Council. The NTA has expressed disappointment with the manner in which Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula handled the launch of the Lekgotla. We're now joined to expand on this matter by Theo Malele, the National Taxi Association spokesperson. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. You have expressed your concerns and disappointment over what transpired at the Lekgotla. Talk to us more about some of those concerns.
Good morning. Corrections, we are National Taxi Alliance. The concerns that we have, emanate from the pre-launch Lekgotla discourse that was called by the Minister on the 20th of August, where union federations and NEDLEC were invited, so was Santaco and NTA. All of these bodies have speaking rights. It was only the NTA that was not given speaking rights. And the NTA took kind to that. And the other issue was the non-releasing of the COVID-19 relief funds. So we wanted the minister to expedite that. So these are some of the issues that made NTA not to participate in this discourse. But then on Wednesday, the 28th of October, the National Taxi Alliance and the Office of the Minister had a cordial visual meeting wherein the NTA maintained its position that it has not participated at the provincial Lekgotlas and will also not be participating at the National Lekgotla, pending the Minister of Transport leveling the playing field by creating a climate conducive to a free and fair and equitable participatory environment for the NTA. So the NTA maintained that it will not participate in a process that violates the freedom of association enshrined in the Constitution of our country and seeks to deliver the taxi industry to the highest bidder. The NTA also raised serious concerns about the predetermined outcomes of the Lekgotla, which seek to entrench Santaco as the apex leadership of the taxi industry, and the dangerous intention to grant Santaco statutory powers symptomatic to referee and player scenario. And the minister also impressed upon us that he is aware that the NTA is a critical stakeholder, and also that he has received letters from our lawyers, and he would want us to try and solve these issues outside court. And he will also ensure that the NTA gets engaged even beyond the Lekgotla, and that the issues that were deliberated upon at the Lekgotla will also give room for NTA's inputs going forward.
Now, what are some of the dangers, do you believe, when it comes to the NPA not being treated as an independent taxi body in this instance?
No, look, if I heard you correctly, well, the NTA has never been, funded by government, and government seems to think that Santaco is the apex body for which we are in disagreement. We are an independent body. We are a well-established organization, which is with its members and a constitution, and we get duly elected every 5 years. And there are, proper channels within the organization, communication that is, and decision-making processes within the organization.
So as we stand, Ntate Malele, just talk us through some of the matters that you're hoping to speak through to the Lekgotla, what you missed and what you're hoping to voice and express as a really important piece of fixing the taxi industry in South Africa, and perhaps also opening those doors of opportunity.
One would be that the government needs to respect NTA and treat it as an independent body. And the NTA also has a view that indeed the taxi industry needs to be transformed. One would be that it supports the notion of unity in diversity, where we envisage that there would be a council that would be made out of members from bodies that would be seconded to that council to make decisions and representations of the aspirations and wishes of the organization. And such people, as and when they do not perform according to agreed perimeters and standards, they will then be pulled out. So there will be that exchange. So that's what we see as the future, and also again the aspect of registering as companies. This needs to be explored further because currently we having vehicles financed by financiers and using the National Credit Act. So you need to amend that if you are to migrate from your current situation into a new environment. And also that the National Land Transport Act will also have to give room for that to happen. We see a passenger being the sole beneficiation in terms of the subsidization of the industry. We are not of the view that individual taxi operators be subsidized, but let the passenger have an option to choose the mode that they would so wish to utilize on a particular corridor that they'll be traveling in, whether stepping out of a taxi, hopping onto a bus, or stepping into a train, using just one integrated ticketing system. That's what we believe in, because currently we are charity fares, and that will give us an opportunity to begin to charge market-related fares so that the level fields are actually level.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to rush you there towards the end. We've run out of time, but that was the National Taxi Alliance spokesperson, Theo Malele, speaking to some of the challenges within the taxi industry and the reasons why the NTA decided to snub the National Taxi Lekgotla.